a co-host, and I can't call this person a guest. We have with us Ayinde Smith, the only one who can make me move the show 3 hours into the future. For some reason, because it's a Saturday and he's a busy guy. Ayinde, please tell the people who you are, introduce yourself, and for those who don't know, tell them what you're about.
Hi, welcome. Well, thank you for having me on. I am Ayinde Smith. Did we move it 3 hours into the future, or did we move it 3 hours into the past? Because this should be at 12 and we're starting at 9. So we're doing some kind of time traveling. Not too sure which direction we're going in.
I'm almost certain. I've verified with Elon Musk. We're going into the future.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I am Ayinde Smith. I am Juma's business partner. Some of you might know me. Some of you may not know me. I think it's great to be on the show. First time I'm on the show after all these months and months and months, all kinds of different people on the show. So yeah, good to be here.
Yes. Yeah. Ayinde is the season closer. This is the last live show we'll be having of the Useful Content Creation Show.
Is this going to be
for the
anything
year.
like Dave Chappelle's Closer?
I know. Although we're both fans of Dave Chappelle, this is not going to be anything like that. I would be happy to be paid like him. That'd be nice. But no, it's
Sure.
not going to be like that. All right. So okay. So let me ask some questions as if I don't know anything,
Sure.
and you'll answer them. So you've been in this current business for how long?
We started Relate Studios. I always forget the exact time. Just the other day, we were looking at some old records, and I noticed there's some Relate Studios stuff with the year 2011 on it. I think things were really firmed up and got official by 2012. So Relate Studios has been running since then. Yeah.
So I think we registered in 2011. All right. So for history's sake, let me run back and show you. And then I started working together before that, and when there was an iteration of the business that I had before called Flow Photo, and I actually have a video. I have two sets of things to show people. I have a video of like the year in review from the Flow Photo days. That's a 2010 video. And also I have some pictures which I'll show in the stream right now. They'll be able to hear us, but they will not be able to see us. So let me just run through and narrate some of these old things that are interesting, I think. Let me show this in the stream.
Right. Let me just geek out a little bit. So you're lining this stuff up through the ATEM?
No, so this is all happening inside of BeLive. Everything here is uploaded, and all of the content is on the BeLive server. So I've loaded up all before, and I'm previewing it. So if we had a producer, the producer would be in the background doing all of this stuff. But since I am the host and producer at the same time, I have to do everything.
Okay, get it.
All right. So let me solo this. All right. So the people can still hear us. This picture is from. I just discovered yesterday. Actually, I could have a gallery in this software. I did not know that. I discovered this when I was uploading these pictures. Right. This photograph is from. Give me some narration on this photograph.
Okay, this is back in the day. You can tell by the hairline.
Oh, let's say okay. Hashtag keeps.
Yeah, I was doing, what was it? It was a job I was working on. It was actually a graphic design job. A lot of people don't know I used to be a graphic designer. But they needed photos, and I decided to do the photos for free, which, because I guess at the time I wasn't really a photographer, it was an easy thing to say. And I knew I needed to get some night photos. I didn't want to do any night photos alone, basically, because I needed to go in town with some gear, and I was like, who can I call? Who's the tallest person I know? Actually, I didn't say that. I just thought, who's into photography, who's going to be willing to go with me? And Juma came to mind, and he was very willing, and he was like, so this is long before Release Studios, so there's no Release Studios context in this photograph here. And he said, yeah, sure, I'll go with you, and which I was grateful for. And so he's the one actually taking this photograph here while I am doing photography of some buildings for a graphic design job I was working on at the time.
Yeah, I've still lots of old pictures.
Yeah, so I still have that watch actually. I'm looking
You
at
still
the
have the
watch.
watch?
I still have the watch, yeah. Still have
Yeah,
the
you are.
bag, the sling bag. That's similar to the bag. That's what I was telling Garrett last week when we were on that job. I was telling Garrett I have a bag like that. If you look carefully in the corner of the photo, you see the bag across my shoulder.
Yeah, I could see it, and I remember Ayinde asking me about going to do this photography with him. I thought Ayinde wanted me to come because like we were going to shoot and it was going to be a thing, not knowing that he wanted a bodyguard. He wanted a bodyguard for the job.
Not bodyguard, more like companion.
Yeah, no. So,
But yeah,
so that's what happened. So this is in Port of Spain, and it's in the night, and you know it's you want to be safe in the nighttime in Port of Spain. And so we went together for the shoot. For a non-photographer, yeah, real good gear there, boy.
the tripod was a serious tripod I got from a photographer who came to Trinidad to live for a little bit. He's originally from Trinidad, moved to Canada, thought he wanted to move back to Trinidad, and then decided, nah, Trinidad is not his speed. So he sold all his gear, some of the stuff he gave me. So that heavy duty tripod, I think, is from that batch. The camera just looks decent. You know, it's like a D70S or something ridiculous like
Right.
which of course for me was like a big deal because I remember trying to save up to buy that D70S. I jumped through hoops to buy that D70S. And it was a big deal for me at the time. But yeah, I think my sister still has that camera.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
it looks like if I'm into it. But yeah, that's just beginning days of some very basic stuff. The photographs of me are good though.
Yeah. I shall take credit for that because I did take them. I said, well, you know, I'm not really here doing anything much. Might as well take pictures of Ayinde. Let's do that instead. Worked out well. Turned out to be nice pictures. Let me see if we have any more of those. Yeah, this is another one here that I find is nice. And this is like low. Hey, morning, Cassius. How you doing? Cassius. What do you call it? What's it? Is it Cassius or Cassius? I'm not sure. Across on LinkedIn. Good to see you. And yeah, so yeah, this is some night photography. I was glad to do the night photography. It was interesting. I think I had my D200 at the time. Can't remember,
Yeah,
but it
I
was
think
really
was the
cool to do.
D200.
Maybe, yeah. I think that may have been it. And then we have some other pictures. This is me hanging out at.
That is my house, Entrance City.
Yeah, yes. This
Which
is at
looks
the
weird.
house. It's weird to see it now, eh? You still have that picture on the wall.
I still have the picture. I bought that picture for my mother might have been for Mother's Day, but I kept it. I only knew it was the house because of all the different furnishings inside the house. So I recognize the chair, recognize the picture. I still have that clay ornament that's on the wall. I don't have the plants though. Wish I had the plants.
That's those are croutons, I think, I'm not sure. Well, much more plants and stuff. You know, it's very, very interesting. So that was us hanging out after we had gone out to shoot some things a particular year.
Right.
And this is some pictures.
Who's that red chick boy?
that's Ayinde and Marie. That is the secret engagement.
I remember that girl.
Yes, yeah. And this is like a shot of.
Yeah, she's still following me around. See,
she's still following me around. It's still the same thing. This is us going out in the early days with a group of people just to do photography.
I think we were doing an engagement shoot with Ted and Jasmine.
Yes.
Yeah, I think was it an engagement or would they? Yeah, I think it was an engagement shoot. And then you see, I see Richard and Arvin. We were renting Arvin's studio just about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Can't remember the guy in the green shirt.
I think it's Kevin, but I haven't seen him in a long time.
Right. Yeah, remember this? This is Shagaramas.
This is when Shagaramas was free to shoot. He did not jump through hoops to shoot in Shagaramas. Now it's like, you know, for all of the international crowd, we're just doing some local reminiscing here. This Shagaramas is a place in the west coast of Trinidad and Tobago. It's a coastal area. It has a long history that's behind it. And basically people go there because the area is nice and picturesque. It's near the beach. and there are golf courses and green spaces that you go and take pictures. But it's a kind of a special area because the rules that apply to the rest of the country don't apply down there necessarily. So we used to go there when it was a little more easy to access.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Let's hide this now and hide it. That's a nice, good memory lane thing right there going on. Okay, so I want to show as well, since we're going down memory lane, I might as well do this right now. I want to show as well some of the content from like a summary of the old flow photo stuff. This is the days when Ayinde and I really started to work together. We hadn't started Relators yet, but I was doing wedding photography. And I will speed up some of the things, so not all of it is relevant, and it's also 8 minutes long. But let's take a look at it and see. Let's see what's happening here. Is this right? Why is it blinking? Right. Okay. This has no audio in it. I was supposed to put audio in it, and I did not have a chance to do it. I think the audio got copyrighted when I put it on YouTube because it was a long time ago when I didn't understand copywriting. But let's see what it looks like. I'm just going to talk you through it. And if you see anything interesting in there, you can talk about it as well.
We can narrate as we go.
Can narrate, right? Let me solo this and let me play it, right? So the business was called Flow Photo at the time, and this is 2010, the year we used to do a year in review at that time. So this is where, we don't have a studio anymore. We are fully remote. So this actually is when we got some of these big octobanks and we were testing them out. That was the first time we were testing them out, and we were setting up and everything inside of the studio space. And it also doubles as a facility for meetings and stuff like that. So this is Ayinde in there. I'm taking this picture. Hey, Damien on Facebook. Good to see you, Damien. And Janelle on Facebook. Good to see you as well. So this is part of it here. This is this is me playing the fool for the camera.
That's a high kick.
That's a high kick. That's when I could do that back in 2010. I cannot do that now. This shot Ayinde, remember this shot?
Yeah, I do.
So this was a band we reached out to. We were trying to build our commercial portfolio. It was a band we reached out to called Supernormal. And we went down in this little hole in somewhere.
Where was that? That was somewhere in St. Augustine, or trying to remember.
In Curep somewhere, I think somewhere in the back in Curep, in a building that was supposed to be a commercial building, but was kind of like abandoned. And they had this whole band set up in this little hole. I mean, they're a great band, and we took nice shots of them, but this is Ayinde inside the space. Explain to us what's happening there.
My stream hasn't updated, so I'm not exactly seeing which one of those images you're looking at right now. But
okay. This stream hasn't updated. Okay, all right. Let me see. Here's what you could do. You could jump on LinkedIn and stream it from your phone, so you could reference it on your phone as well. Maybe you could see the. Let me describe the image to you. This is you in you in a gray t-shirt with a camera around your neck and another smaller camera in your hand, in the space where we took the pictures of the people in the band. No, only you were in the shot.
Right. I just remember it being really grungy. Really, the aesthetic really matching the band at the time. I just thought it was like a super cool, not a rift off of the name Supernormal. But I thought it was a super cool shoot. Everybody in the band was nice and was a good experience. Yeah, the music too was interesting. Kind of had me thinking, yeah, this kind of photography is where it's at. I mean, you talked about the wedding photography at the time, and at that time I was like, yeah, wedding photography is not where it's at. I thought this kind of band photography and stuff, yeah, that's where it's at. That's like living out your Rolling Stones dreams, Rolling Stones magazine, that is, or your People magazine, or Life, not People, but Life magazine dreams, where you do these kind of editorials. So yeah, that was a good shoot.
Yeah, and it was not about our wedding life at the beginning at all. You know, but that soon changed. Let's move on with the video. Let's play some more. Um, not gonna look
Okay.
at everything.
I'm now seeing myself in the band room there.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Are you seeing Ronaldo?
Yeah, Ronaldo come back any day. I think Ronaldo sold out most of his gear.
Yeah. He came to help us with the shoot at the time. That was the old facility. And this is one of our good friends and clients who still are around, Carol and Keith, excellent couple. We shot their wedding back in 2010. And actually Graham Otley is helping me here. I can make this one. This is Dong Shagaramas again when it wasn't so rough. And so Graham Otley is helping me here with this one. And this is another wedding when my sister, she used to help me with the weddings as well. And this is one of the best shoots we did. We had an idea for this shoot. I remember that
Right.
shoot where we went and we did the ambulance stuff.
Yeah.
This is Benga from out in DC. Oh, this is the ambulance shoot here. We did a lot of trespassing in the early days of doing photography. And we had oh gosh, it's Darren and starts with a J. Remember the couple's name?
No, I don't remember. Yeah, but definitely I think it was Darren. So I got to
Darren.
remember.
Yeah, we trespassed. We brought the big lights and the battery pack, and
Well, technically it wasn't trespassing, we just walked into an area and stayed there longer than we should have. But
I don't know how you define trespassing at all. That's
I don't
like,
know either.
So let's take a look at this. So this is okay. So this is the uniform we used to have before Ayinde revolutionized our wedding uniform. We used to wear ties, long ties, short sleeve, black trousers, brown belt, and brown shoes. So this is Ayinde at one of the weddings that we did. Ayinde came and said, "Yeah, we know about that regular life." This is Benga back in Lake Placid, New York, when he helped with the wedding. All of these pictures have some piece of a photographer in it. Look at the far right. I think that may be me taking that shot there. This is Ayinde taking a shot here at another wedding here. And this was like a review of the things we've done, like kind of like a BTS. You remember this shot here with Jamie?
So
Oh, you're not seeing it yet?
it's a very strange experience because the stream is going to be a little delayed from your end. So everybody who's looking at it is going to get your audio and the stream at the right time. But because I'm hearing your audio in this session, it's going to be before the video actually comes up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because of the little delay. Yes, I remember. Yeah, I saw this with Jamie. That's Jamie who does the makeup, the airbrush makeup.
Yeah, she does photography now. This is her. I remember this was at Show, the restaurant, and we kind of had them in the balcony and went all the way across on the other side and lit it from all the way across.
Yeah, I think this was one of the weddings where I thought, yeah, this photography is looking fantastic. Probably one of the first times I started thinking that when we did that shot with them on the balcony, and yeah, we went across to the other building or the other section of the building and shot across. Yeah, these photos came out great.
Yeah, they were really excellent. And Jamie was a really excellent bride too. Let's see what else is up with this. Ayinde after wedding. Let's fast forward a little bit. Oh, this is me.
Dunking. Were you about to dunk that basketball there?
I did not succeed. I took this picture exactly. Okay, this is me lamenting my knee afterwards.
Blaming your knee.
Blaming my knee for missing the dunk. This is Tobago. This is a shoot we did. I took my sister along with me, and we were in the water doing the shoot. I think I can make this one either, or that's when I was training my sister a little bit. Let's fast forward a little bit. Let's fast forward and get to here.
Damn! Look at those guns, man.
They're coming in hot with the gym ready sleeveless stuff. This is Toco. It's one of the beautiful places in Trinidad and Tobago, on the north coast of Trinidad and Tobago. It still is very beautiful. As Ayinde and I were doing some photography for a couple. This couple is very special to me in particular because Cassius is saying good form though. Hi Nikisha on LinkedIn. Because they were the one who saved me from being totally hungry when I went to did my first ever wedding in Tobago, I think it was. It's a long story. I'll tell one of those things. Hey, Leslie Ann on Facebook. Good morning to you as well. Let's see. I can show some of these comments on Facebook, and let me show some of these comments on Facebook. So Les is saying, good morning. Damien Lockpart is saying, good morning as well.
Morning, guys.
And Janelle is saying, hello. And Leslie is saying, yes, Toko is my dad's hometown. Really? Uncle Toko, he from Toko? Okay, all right. That's my cousin, by the way, Leslie Ann. All right, so let's continue on and see. So this is Ayinde lighting the couple. More guns again. There's a whole artillery cache there. So this is more images. This is Antigua when Brenda. This is my wife helping me out here. We went shoot a wedding in Antigua, and we didn't have the uniforms and stuff here as yet. Let me fast forward a little bit. What else? This is my sister here, and this is some. The wedding days in 2010 was an interesting year. A lot of development took place in 2010.
Yeah, Janessa had a lot of experience, man.
Yeah, she got a lot of experience. This is Lake Placid. I was going on the boat to shoot. That's me in the corner there. This is me on the boat with the couple on the lake. And this is me heading back. I was kind of a little swanky there. I had a sweater vest and thing.
Yeah.
Nice. Me again.
Which country is that again?
That's the US. That's New York, upstate New York, Lake Placid.
Right. Okay.
This is okay. That's Ayinde here. Let me go back to that one. Ayinde is hiding behind the pew at the church here, and we have. So we have. I mean, it's lots of historical things like Trisha and.
Trisha! Shout out to Trisha and Joel. Just looked at
them.
Trisha's picking up her husband yesterday on Facebook.
Yeah, and this is me not being short.
I think this is me. Is this the first booth or this is second booth?
That is the second booth. The first booth was with Hans Diffenthaler of Kesley Band.
Yeah. First booth was it was in Palmis.
Palmis, yeah, when Hans got married that year. This is me not being short. So for those people who I tell I'm tall, this is like the difference. The times I end up with people. So yeah.
Yeah.
So this is more again. Lots of good memories here. Lots of really good memories. Ayinde in the elevator. Us in the back there, starring in the wedding. This is me again. Holding the bride's bouquet. And Ayinde somehow lighting his own face. All right, see you in 2011. And 2011 is when Relate Studios actually started.
Right. That's when we did all the registration and stuff and made stuff legal. And
yes.
Yeah, which is a good thing to do. A lot of people have businesses and they don't go through the process of really formalizing what they want to do. And
right.
Yeah, we did that. So that's good.
That's good. And it was a good. I mean, I didn't want to do business by myself, and you clearly didn't want to do business by yourself. And Relate was born out of that desire. And there are lots of different things that went into it. I talked about some of that earlier this week on the live stream with the guys from the Caribbean Creative Space. That is Sion and Conrad and Owen. And Kyle was producing that. That was just Thursday. That was a good. So Leslie Ann is saying, I'm really to know I can use a great company for my wedding one day in the future. Leslie Ann, if you get me to do that, only my family can get me to do that. I might send her in there. I don't know. Let's see how that goes.
It needs to be in the near future.
It needs to be in the very near future. Unless you have you realize like this weekend you're going to get engaged. And Cassius is saying across on LinkedIn, the way you guys documenting your jobs are great. I might need to do this. Highly recommended, Cassius. Highly recommended documenting your thing. This is a decade ago.
And that's just 1 year. I mean, if we decided to do the 10-year reminisce, I mean, we'll be here for a while. But the images are definitely there if we needed to do it. Like that doesn't have anything with Nicholas. That doesn't have anything with Jamil. Doesn't have the new uniform. doesn't have the new logo. I mean, yeah, so that's way back, but there's lots of other stuff that you could include in there.
Most definitely. All right, so now that we're going to memory lane a little bit, let's ask Ayinde some hard questions.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff we do currently. So for the business that we run, one of the things that we do is we create content for people, video content specifically, right?
Right.
And the thing I have to ask is, do you think that creating content that speaks to the internal parts of your business, that is your team and your employees, is critical for the development and the overall well-being of a business?
Well, short answer, yes. But I want to just backtrack a little bit because we kind of touched on something when we transitioned to this part of the conversation. So you saw us doing like wedding photography, and then we talked about the fact that we're not doing that too much. And one of the things I just want to highlight is that the culture, the values of Relate Studios could apply to any business. And we always say internally that if we were selling doubles, it would be Relate doubles because the values are more than what we do. So that's why I could have done wedding photography, even if I wasn't really into it, because it was more about the values behind the thing. And that's how we build the business, with the internal values being very strong and the value we place on certain things being very strong. So we always say relationship is more important than, well, it started off as relationship is more important than photography. And now we just say relationship is more because we do more than photography. So relationship is more. I mean, you can't get more explicit or any other or less explicit than that. I mean, relationship is more. That's where we're at. And so even when we're in this new phase of business and we develop content and we help companies create content internally, one of the values you find with internal content is that it allows you to share your values with your employees. So one of the things I think is important for companies to do is to proselytize, so to speak, or to make believers of their employees. A lot of companies forget that part. So I believe a company needs to have a visionary leader. And that's how we run Relate. There's one single visionary leader. But the job of the visionary leader is to ensure that his vision, whether he's the CEO or the general manager, or maybe he might just be the manager of a particular department, the job of that visionary leader is to ensure that they impart that to the employees so that the employees, so companies talk about onboarding, but they focus a lot on the mechanics of onboarding, making sure you have your email, making sure you talk to HR, you have a desk, you have the right chair. And a lot of companies focus on that part of it. But to me, the most important part of onboarding is imparting. So not just sharing, because I could give you a vision statement, I could give you a mission statement. But if I don't cause that thing to be put inside of your brain, your heart, and your value system, then it's not imparted. And I think creating internal content can lead to companies being able to properly impart their values to their employees, whatever those values are. I think that's very important. So companies need to think about how do I make believers? So that's your first customers, really and truly. I think if companies can't get their employees to believe, there's no way they're going to get customers to believe. It's just going to be fake. And then what you're going to have is a disconnect from what you're shouting at your customers. And then I come into the place, I come into your business, and there's a disconnect. It's like you're talking about one set of values out here. But then when I come into the business space, it's a different set of values because you didn't take time to make sure that you impart your values to your employees. So, and that's one of the big benefits of having internal content and developing good internal content.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Am I unmuted now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. It's taking a bit to respond. Yeah, I want to make sure that those are very good comments, by the way, and very true, and I agree with that 100%. I want to make sure that we're on. I'm looking at the stream here on Facebook and on LinkedIn, and we seem to have frozen a little bit. I'm seeing that even though I am
It's
make
catching
sure.
back up. Yeah, I have it here, and we've just
Let me make
passed
sure my
over.
internet didn't go down. Yeah, let me see if my internet didn't go down. I think my internet may have been giving some trouble there. I'm not sure. Anyway, so let's continue. Let's continue. If for some reason you get stuck on the show by yourself, you just take it away and make sure that you keep the people entertained.
I'll just start singing.
All right, so yeah, start doing something, drop some bars or something like that.
Yo, 1 2 1
All right,
2.
so one thing that people don't know, may not know about you, is that you're a bit of a history buff. Is that true?
That's the next thing to true. I am definitely into history. I remember studying history in secondary school. It was probably my favorite subject right up until Form 4, because in Form 3 you had to choose subjects, and I think I kind of
Right.
went the more practical route. So because you live in a system that has to balance time and classes, and you could only do so many subjects at a time because they can't conflict. I think history was conflicting with something else that was more practical. It was either conflicting with business or accounting, and I was like, well, history has to suffer, and that marked the end of my formal foray into history. But I still very much into history. I mean, sometimes I get lost on YouTube 2 hours and I'm going through all of the intricacies of the Persian Empire, or some guys explaining how Caesar invaded Rome, the route he took through the Alps and came down, and so that happened something. And also more recent history is also fascinating, like the U.S. invading Grenada. What was the issues behind that, or how Saddam came to power? I watched a whole video on Saddam Hussein, or even Muammar Gaddafi, how he was a young bright-eyed revolutionary, full of hope and promise. And then, as the Batman movie says, you live long enough to become the villain. So yeah, so history is definitely something I'm into. You always learn from history, so
Right. So that's very interesting. Many people do not know this. So when we talk about somebody think, so a lot of people hear me all the time. They don't usually hear Ayinde. So from a history perspective, how can history be used to create content that is relevant to Caribbean development, you think?
I think it's important so when you talk about development, you start talking about a couple of things. Development really speaks about education. It speaks about economics. So like, you can't talk about development unless you're talking about those two things. And I think those two things go hand in hand, because you can't really begin to build forward unless you understand where you've come from. And there are
Yeah.
lessons in the past. There are lessons that can reinforce. So like, you can learn values from the past that you could reinforce. So like, when you study the resilience of slaves, for example, and their ability to maintain their culture through hundreds of years of oppression and suppression, you could learn values. But you could also learn what not to do. So you can see that colonial businesses were developed in a particular kind of way and for a particular purpose. So one of the things colonial businesses are developed for is to extract resources. So you could look at that and you say, you know what, that's true. But why am I still inside of the same business mode? Why am I not thinking further along the value chain than just, well, I'm just going to plant sugarcane and export it to Europe, or I'm just going to extract oil and export it to Europe. So you can look back in your history and see those patterns. And there are some patterns you want to adopt and reinforce, and there are some patterns you want to use to help point you in a different direction. And you can say, okay, that's the way they did it in a colonial society, but we're not colonial anymore. So what's the way to do it if you're not colonial anymore? And just to ask those kinds of questions, because sometimes you live in a society and you assume things have to be the way that they are, and they don't have to be the way they are. If you just ask the question, well, what if we weren't this? What if this wasn't our history? What if this wasn't our background? What if we didn't have these influences? How would we do it? What would be the best way to do it? And I think if some of our entrepreneurs and some of our business people start asking these questions, then we will be able to create globally competitive businesses. and that's whether it is a creative business or
And yeah, he got cut off. Hopefully, he comes back on.
Oh, you all not hearing me?
Oh, you were frozen there for a second.
Okay.
Go ahead. The last thing we didn't hear the last thing.
Okay. One of the things I think that technology does is that it creates more of a level playing field and more of an open platform for businesses to compete globally. So no longer you have to say, well, we have small markets, so we can't really be big, or we just here in Trinidad, the technology is not here, let's import everything. I don't think that is any longer the case. I think companies in any part of the world can become global and can compete globally. You just have to ask the right questions and then go out and look for the answers.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think part of people's the revolution inside of people's thinking has to happen. Like, for example, one of the reasons why we think the way we do is that we were exposed to particular things, or we sought out knowledge, or we were taught, or we spoke to particular people. There are many people who think they don't have access to the ways or the understanding how to build a significant business from an island in the Caribbean, but the knowledge is out there, is accessible for all. So there is content out there. You might not have a direct mentor, but you could go look things up. You just have to have the desire to search it out and to build it. And I think part of our responsibility, especially in the Caribbean, as people who are leaders in content, leaders in thought, is to give people exactly what you're saying, to tell people you can actually do this thing. It's possible. You know, and to say that to people who may feel that, yeah, no, this is out of my reach. Building a global business is out of my reach, or having a business in general is out of my reach. And one of the ways we do that is through education, and we educate people through content, empowering people to do things that they would not normally think to do. So the content that we produce and the content that comes out of Relate a lot of times is content that encourages development, that speaks to that part of it. And you know, from a historical perspective, we can understand why some people might be disenfranchised, and but definitely it does help to produce the right content that gives people a different perspective, and does help.
Yeah.
So I often get asked why our partnership works.
Right.
So let me ask you the question: why do you think our partnership works?
Because you're afraid of me, and the partnership works because I think both of us are sensible. I mean, that's an easy answer, but let me try and get into the real reason why I think it works. First of all, partnerships where you think that you're both in charge is always going to be ending in failure, because as the old Calypso says, 3 Borat, 2 Borat, anything more than 1 Borat can't live in the same hole. And the whole here not being the business, the whole here being the visionary leadership position. So while you can both have authority, while in a partnership, whether it's 2 people or more, you can have a group of people. So like companies have board of directors and so on. You have managers, and everybody can have authority. Everybody can have responsibility. Everybody can have a say. But ultimately, there needs to be one vision. Because if you have 2 visions, what you actually have is division or division. Yeah. So die being 2, vision meaning to be able to see. So you literally can't have 2 visions. Now, that's not to say if Juma has a vision, my input is not going to help clarify and streamline that vision. That's exactly what you want. That's what you want from a partner, somebody who can speak into the vision and help streamline it, add to it, and improve it as you go along the way. But what you can't have is leadership by committee. That don't work. You can't have vision by committee. That just doesn't work. And I think that's one of the things that helps this work, in that there's a clear recognition of, regardless of the business being a 50-50 business, so to speak, the visionary leadership comes from one place. And Once you understand that, then it kind of helps with a lot of the issues that partnerships will face. It's like a boy band or a R&B group. Everybody wants to be the leader. Everybody wants to be Bobby Brown, or everybody wants to be
Call a recent one, please.
I have no idea who are the boy bands now.
Well, at least 90s. At least let's talk about NSYNC and
In
Destiny's
sync.
Child
Well,
and
is
things
I
like
was
that.
thinking about curly hair boy. What's his name from
Justin
Justin?
Timberlake.
Everybody wants to be Justin. Now, yeah. So that's the issue. Everybody can't be that, and I think understanding of that is important. The other thing is I think that helps with that is good communication. And you need to ensure you have good communication so that everybody's on the same page. Nobody is intimidated by speaking what they think they need to speak or say what they need to say. That helps. And I think probably the most important thing there is a common set of values. So you can't build something with somebody if the values are uneven, if the values don't mesh. And I think we both in the past kind of encountered similar situations where we were trying to work with people or we were trying to partner with people, and the thing that didn't allow it to work was the discrepancy or the tangents of the values. So my values would have gone one way and the other person's values would have been going a different way, and you just can't build like that. Values provide the platform for the partnership. Yeah, that's a good quote right there. Values provide the platform for the partnership.
For the partnership.
Do a little graphic.
Yeah, you can quote Ayinde that. Values provided. Believe me, I'm going to quote that. I'm going to use it on LinkedIn, and I'm going to quote you. Values provide the platform for the partnership. Let's see how long have we been on? About 40 minutes now. I'll clip it at around 42 minutes, and and I'll share it. Because people need to hear that, because I have seen a lot of big people who come into a space and talk about why partnerships didn't work for them, and sometimes some people are meant not to have partnerships. That's fine. But if you're looking to start a partnership, you always start in the values first. Start in the values first.
Yeah,
if you all have,
yeah,
go ahead.
I think too many times people start and what they can get out of it. So they look to partner with the people who have, and they teach you this in business school too. They tell you partner with the people who can supplement the skills that you don't have. So people kind of start from, okay, well, this person's going to bring this to the business. This person has money, or this person has a degree in engineering, or this person could write code, and they start with that. So they start with how good they could write code, and they forget, okay, we need to have values that mesh. And while I'm saying I'm not saying don't look at complementary skill sets. You still have to look at that. What I'm saying is don't start with the complementary skill set. Start with the value. Don't start with, oh, he has the money to invest, or he has the know-how to do this thing that I can't do, and so let me partner with him. So a lot of people start there. A lot of people start talking. They realize they're interested in similar things, but they don't realize that they have divergent values. They just say, oh, he likes this and I like that. He likes doing plant pots and I like painting, so let's do it together. And then you realize, okay, no, you can't really partner on that level because your values don't mesh. Now, sometimes you can just be transactional, and that's fine. But when you're talking about a business is a deeper level of partnership than a transaction. Because let's say you at the time you wanted to take photographs and I wanted somebody to help me take photographs. I could partner on a transaction level with you. But that's different from building a business. You need to have a strong set of common values that's going to allow for you to move forward.
Yeah, definitely. Let me recognize Usama Cross on LinkedIn, who has been talking to us for a little while now, and I haven't shouted him out yet. I am on later on today on the live stream on Osama's show, and that should be interesting around 2 p.m. local time. That's AST. So, Osama, thanks so much for turning up to the live stream this morning. This is the last one for the year with Ayinde Smith, who happens to be my business partner as well, and who doesn't often turn up on these public platforms. It's like an appearance. It's like when somebody you don't see them for a long time and they make a public appearance. It's like, oh my God, paparazzi, whoever paparazzi is there at the time, Getty gonna pay them a lot of money for that image. And for those who don't know, Getty Images is the premier world image bank now at this time. We'll have all these other images. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit now about people think I'm the affable one and you're the serious one, but let's skip over that. I don't know where they get that from. I think it's the glasses, maybe.
I'm serious. I am actually serious as a judge. As a judge.
It's interesting. It's interesting, the synergy. I mean, and we took time to build it out and figure those things out. It's not like it's overnight and we just, the reason the thing works is because we did, in fact, plan the thing in the value. So that's important. I can be very serious as well, but generally people don't get to see that. Okay. All right. So let's just talk a little bit about some of the content that you like.
Mhm.
And I'm going to take this as like a time where, because we are supposed to have a podcast next year, right?
Yeah.
That's we still doing that.
Well, let's ask the people: do you want to see a Release Studios podcast? Do you want to see Juma and Ayinde talking for about an hour about topics that may or may not interest you? If you want to see, if you want to see a Release Studios podcast, let us know down in the comments if you want that. Yeah.
Well, I ain't clearly getting the hang of this thing. So yeah, let us know if you want to see that podcast. So Damian Lockpart is saying yes. Onicia is saying yes. We just need one more person to confirm out of the mouth of 2 or 3. They think will be established. But we can agree with you all too and say yes. So we want to start our podcast next year, and we'll be talking about varying things. We'll be talking about marketing. We'll be talking about business.
Right.
We'll be talking about how that integrates into our personal lives. And we're working on these segments. That is why Ayinde has has a really cool setup now. We have the same microphone and the light and stuff. Ayinde hit them with the theme song now, since you have the all right, it's loud. Take it out. My God. Are you one of those people that okay, see, that's why you don't give people anything. And it's
yes.
I as the roadcaster.
Yeah, Juma gave me this cool roadcaster with some loaded up themes and audio, and makes you feel like you're a DJ. So it was just fun to press these things.
Right.
Go ahead.
So we're preparing ourselves technically for it, and also from a content perspective for this podcast next year. It's going to be called the It's Good to Relate podcast. I think that's the name we agreed on, or the It's Good to Relate show, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what we agreed on, and yeah, it should be a really excellent podcast next year. We have to plan it out. We have to do some episodes, and I suspect that for as long as we feel is relevant and necessary, we'll continue talking about these things publicly. Because prior to this, we were not really talking about it. But since I kind of dove in last year and began to create content on different platforms, this is going to be something that Relate as a collective is going to, at least the leadership is going to, and we may have other people on. We may have Nicholas on and other team members and Relate adjacent people and extended team on at different times to talk about relevant things. And yeah, so that's happening next year. And God willing, next year that will happen. So that should be really good. Okay, so before we wrap up, because I know we don't have a lot of time today, tell me about who your favorite content creator or creators are these days. Apart from me, of course.
Right. So apart from Juma, content creators. So I consume a lot of content. Just by the way, we're not young. I don't know if anybody know that. So in my mind, content stretches all the way. So we use the word content now, but back in the days we used to say TV shows. Back in the days we used to say advertisements. Back in the days we used to say comic strips. All of that's still content. So a big part of where I consume content now is no longer television. So I used to watch a lot of television back in the days. Like I would watch things that kids didn't really used to watch. I used to watch a lot of documentaries, what you would call government programs that would come on at a certain time in the afternoon. I used to watch all those things. So
you're a weird kid.
Well, I used to read encyclopedias too. I used to read encyclopedias more than I read novels. Novels always kind of bored me at a certain point, and then I would stop. So yeah, so content wise, I think I consume a lot of YouTube because and the educational side of YouTube. I know a lot of people, there are a lot of content creators that are entertaining on YouTube. I don't know a lot of them. So like Juma tells me about PewDiePie. Or this
I mentioned
yeah, Juma
PewDiePie.
mentioned PewDiePie to me. And
No,
then there's
no.
this
Oh,
this
I mentioned that. No, wait. I don't defend myself. PewDiePie is not one. Please, PewDiePie, all respect, but is not one of my major content channels.
well, I don't know if you said that's one of your major content channels, but the first time I heard about PewDiePie is from you.
From me. Okay, all right, I get.
And
you,
then there's Jake Paul that everybody talks about. Never looked at any of his videos. I am into tech videos, into good quality vlog videos. So like one of the persons I looked at a lot is Casey Neistat. He didn't really have a genre. It was very interesting the type of videos that he did because he's a filmmaker by trade, not a YouTuber by trade. So take a filmmaker, introduce a guerrilla filmmaker to be exact. So he's not traditional Hollywood. So Casey Neistat is a guerrilla filmmaker. He had a very interesting series on HBO that got cut after one series, I think. Then he came onto YouTube and he started doing videos, but he started doing vlogs in a very unique way that told a story using all his cinematography skills and his guerrilla cinematography skills. So I really got into Casey Neistat. Well, I think when I started looking at Casey Neistat's vlog, he was at about 60,000. I think he's currently at 11 million followers on YouTube. So he does some really interesting thing. His brother Van Neistat also started this year, and he does some interesting videos. Like the way they do the videos is what is particularly interesting to me, and they always tell a story, which is a little bit different from your traditional vlogger, who really they changed the game. I think Casey changed the game because Casey was one of the first people who said, you know what, I'm not going to vlog with my phone. I'm not going to vlog with a point and shoot. I'm going to vlog with a full-on Canon 6D or whatever it was with a 24 to 70 2.8 lens on it. So he was doing like proper filming. So I looked at him a lot. So these days he doesn't post a lot. But I was definitely into his stuff. Tech review wise, Mkbhd is like top of the king of the hill for me right now. Young fella. But high quality videos. Not only high quality videos, from a reviewer standpoint, he does the homework and he's extremely intelligent, which I really appreciate. There are a lot of YouTubers who are just fanboys and fangirls. They just do tech videos and they just love everything. It's oh, this is so fantastic, and this is so fantastic, and this is great. And all they basically do is take things out of the box, show it to you, and fawn over it. Which, I mean, has its entertainment purpose, but Mkbhd, he does his homework and he does the comparisons and he talks about the details inside of it and he thinks about things. So I truly feel that other tech YouTubers wait for his video to then talk about certain things because they don't get it, because he definitely gets it. I think I realized he posts some of his videos a little bit later than other people. Maybe he realized the same thing. So a lot of people already dropped their new MacBook videos. Mkbhd hasn't. And I'm looking forward to it because most of the videos coming out now, everybody's just talking about how great it is, and nobody's pointing out some of the things that I am seeing that I would talk about. And so I'm waiting for his reviews. Mkbhd is one of the things that I look at now, content-wise. Then there's this guy from Canada, photographer, filmmaker from Canada.
Oh, I mean, I seen his face. Oh, he was just on the thing with Parker Wahlbeck the other day. He won a competition with he used to line with Casey.
He came down to New York a couple times. He has long hair. I think you might know who I'm talking about. If anybody in the comments could remind us who that is. He does some interesting stuff too. But as you talk about content, I also think about TV shows, and Netflix has a couple interesting TV shows on Netflix that I feel can fall inside of the bracket of good content. So the Black Mirror series is very interesting.
Love that.
Yeah, Love and Robots. I know I wasn't really into it when you first told me about it.
Oh, you got to Love and Robots?
Okay, it reminds me of when they did the Animatrix back in the day. I don't know if people
Right,
remember
right, right.
Animatrix. To me, the Animatrix series was probably better than the movies, but that might be a controversial statement or controversial opinion. So yeah,
Yeah,
Netflix has some good stuff on there too.
right.
Then
Well, let me
podcast
say,
wise,
let me just say hello to Dana Rambaran across one of the faithful members of the Useful Content community
I didn't
across
know.
on LinkedIn. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying fast podcast. I'm into Mkbhd's studio podcast, which is called the Waveform Podcast. I'm also really into Malcolm Gladwell. Anybody who's listening to this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
interested in business, studying business, marketing, that kind of stuff, you need to read Malcolm Gladwell. I'm into Malcolm Gladwell's books and so on. So I have nearly all of his books. I just need to buy one more. The only reason I haven't bought it yet is because the last one I bought, I haven't read it yet. So I have to read Talking with Strangers, and then there's another book that I need to buy. But his full set of books, I've read all of them a couple of times. So Blink and some of the titles are failing me now. But he has like 5 books, Malcolm Gladwell. But he has this podcast called you listen to it too, Juma. The podcast is called
yeah.
Revisionist History.
Revisionist history.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's part of, I think, revisionist history. Yeah, from Pushkin
Yeah,
Industries. Yeah,
revisionist history is
yeah,
extremely entertaining and educational because Malcolm Gladwell, he's a writer. Actually, I can't even call him a writer anymore. I have to call him a content creator. He's a content creator that does his homework. Now, I guess he has a team around him to help with research and that kind of thing. But they
yes,
do their homework. They don't
yes,
just come and talk. They just like, okay, if I'm going to create a video on this thing, or I'm going to create a podcast on this thing, I'm going to do the homework to really give you some insight. So revisionist history is all about looking at past events and finding out what actually happened based other than the popular opinion of what happened. The one that comes to mind in particular is the whole
right.
issue with the Toyota acceleration pedal sticking. Yeah, that
Oh, I
was a
remember
very
that the
interesting
episode.
episode.
I remember that
Everybody
episode. Yeah.
thought Toyota had these faulty cars, and the facts just don't prove that out. It wasn't an issue of faulty cars, but a whole configuration of mistakes by drivers and mats that were too big and media hysteria. It was very interesting listen. So yeah, that's some of the content that comes to mind right now. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good list. I think if I were to add, let me just add a little bit to your list and talk about some of the people who I like. I love Mkbhd. He's very good at what he does. I look at the Corridor Digital channel. I'm not into VFX, but I find the channel is very well done. It's very well put together. And so I look at them all the time. There's a slew of people who I look at for camera stuff, so I'm not going to call any of those people. I look at a channel called Belief in Fatherhood, which I think is a really excellent channel. The guy just talks in general about fatherhood. He's a black father with a black family, and I like the production of his stuff. And he's a producer as well, so he does really good things. And of course, I still look at the Future, Chris Do and his stuff.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah, I'm into
good
the
as well.
future too. Chris is very
Yes,
educational.
he's very. And then of course, there's some of the guilty pleasure content, like car content. I look at donuts and who else? I look at Donut a lot. That channel for
I
I'm sure
think
Damien Lapat will be, if he's still there, will know about that.
yeah, I think you also told me you're into the one when they eat the hot sauce and the wings.
Oh, right. Yeah, so that's happening now locally. Actually, that's Hot Ones.
Hot
Yeah, I haven't
ones.
looked at that in a while though. Since the pandemic and they had to do it remotely, they started by doing it in person now. But I hadn't really jumped into it. Oh, and one last channel that I really love is a channel called 1000. I like it mainly because my kids are into art and he does really nice art, and as a result of that, I've expanded out to different art channels.
Right.
So 1000. Actually, I'm actually going to do a video on 1000 showing how we took his content and created something in particular.
Right.
So that was good. All right. So I think we're coming in for landing. It's about an hour. The today wasn't such of a tight day. I didn't have a lot of tight questions. I just asked Ayinde a few things, and we just in general talk. It's a good end to the season. A kind of relaxing end is we're not trying to do too much or be too extra today.
Yep.
But just to let you all know that this is a kind of a taste of the things that will come in the future, where we'll get together and we'll talk about different topics And since this is Ayinde's first time on any live show, that's true or no? I guess.
I've been on television, if you count that as a live show. Yeah, my brain
Nah,
is
doesn't
like
count.
that. So like my brain always kind of meshes the old thing with the new thing, even though people don't normally call it like that. So even though back
No,
then you would have
doesn't,
says TV, it's a live show. But yeah,
no, doesn't
in
count.
this
Doesn't count.
content, no, this might be
doesn't
my debut.
doesn't count, right? And you can realize that he's very well coiffed, and the whole thing on his shirt, the crisp white shirt, his color. It was starch at the beginning. It's looking like it falling a little bit now, but it was starch at the beginning.
Don't have starch.
Don't have starch.
I don't have starch.
Yeah. And so this is some of the things that we're going to do in the future, and I'm really thankful, Ayinde, for jumping on. I know you have to go do some stuff now, and I also have to go do some Saturday stuff. So everybody watching, this is the last Saturday show, the last live show for the rest of the year. We'll be coming back again next year on January 13th. Will be the Thursday show, and let me just check and see what the Saturday show will be. The Saturday show will be 2 days later, which will be January the 15th. So I have people booked for the 13th and the 15th already. I have John Esperian on the Saturday. And for people on LinkedIn, everybody will know who John Esperian is. And I have Travis Lochner on the Thursday. And for everybody who is on LinkedIn will know who Travis Lochner is already. And that's next year. So you have people booked already and everything for next year for the Useful Content Creation Show. And then we'll be producing this podcast as well, so you can look out for that. Any closing words, Ayinde? Anything you want to share with the people before we go?
Not really. Any particular words? No. Gonna do some family stuff for my 2 girls, and I think I have something to do for my wife. So
yeah, work to do.
Yeah, stuff to do. So yeah, just wanted to big up the family there. It was good being on the show. Looking forward to the It's Good to Relate show in 2022. I can't believe we're in 2022. I remember when the world was going to end in 2020, in 2000, and then again
2000 first,
and then in 2012.
Then in 2012 again.
Yes.
And here we are 10 years later.
Yeah. So yeah, it's 2022 next year. So we're looking forward to 2022 for new things and our ability to press into purpose and press into the future. While keeping what is important right in front of us. That's why we continue to say that relationship is more. And as we exit out of this podcast, the relationship we're going to deal with is our families and so on. So that's a good place to move off from. I know you're going to deal with some family stuff. I'm going to deal with some family stuff. So those are like the most important relationships to us.
Boy. Yeah, we have things to deal with. Let me see what the girls doing later. So it was great having you on Ayinde, and I'll see you. I'll see you on Monday anyway. So
do I get to hit the theme music now?
Okay, let's lower it a little bit, and you can hit the theme music, and let's go out with the theme music. And there's the roadcaster.
Yeah, this makes me feel like Dr. Hyde right here. For young people who don't know who Dr. Hyde is, ask your uncle.
Yes. Excellent. So this is the theme music going on. Thanks so much, everybody, for being here on the last show of the year, the Useful Content Creation Show. We're so grateful to have everybody here with us on this Saturday and every Saturday. I think the music ducks when I talk, but that's good. Let's move it out. Later, everybody. Bye.